Hello, 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 everybody. I hope that everyone is enjoying a nice, relaxing post-Christmas time where they can unwind and relax because those days leading up to Christmas can be pretty crazy. And you're all looking forward to bringing in a new and fresh year, 2022. So thank you guys for hopping on here with me. I have to first apologize for not doing my live last week. All that bustle and hustle and bustle got me down. I managed to catch a flu bug and I was in no shape. As a matter of fact, I had zero voice for 3 days. So even if I'd wanted to push through and do a live last week, you wouldn't have been able to hear a word I was saying. So my apologies. I am feeling much better now, thank goodness. So last week I was going to talk to you about, I think my child has dyslexia and I don't, what can I do to help them? I don't know what to do. And so because I missed that, I thought, well, we'll just do that this week. And there are lots of telltale signs that your child may or may not have a learning challenge like dyslexia, writing letters backwards, writing whole words backwards, mixing up letters, transposing them, getting them backwards in words, writing similar, all the same letters but in different orders. Really, you can see that look of fear when you ask them to read or spell, or they're really reluctant to write anything. There's lots and lots of signs. But the only way to really know is to do like a complete evaluation through a psychologist, which can be pretty costly. And it's not necessary always, because you can help your child without having every little detail of what their learning deficits are. And I first want to say that dyslexia is not any kind of a curse. As a matter of fact, it can be a gift, because these kids, it's no reflection on their intelligence. They are usually of above average intelligence. And that's another clue too, is that your kid is really smart and yet they can't seem to find success at school. And it's not their fault. It's because of how they're being taught. And it's very common for kids in a public school setting to not do well. Thank you, Bliss. When they're being taught in the public school system. And so my experience in the district that I worked at for nearly 20 years was they didn't even look at a child and try to assess them until like grade 3. They wouldn't put them up towards, to have them put towards in front of a psychologist to have a psychological evaluation done, at least until the end of grade 3. Because, and true enough, all children learn at a different pace, and oftentimes kids will catch up. But there are some kids that you just know that's not the issue. It's not that they're learning at a different pace, it's that they're really struggling to learn in that environment. And so those kids will get sent down for some learning support, the LST teacher. But again, my experience is that the learning support teachers, more often than not, they're either brand new and they're just looking for a position, or they're tired of the classroom and having all that management and they just want to do something different. But many of them don't have the special training that they really should have in order to teach those kids that need to be taught differently. I mean, if it was working in the classroom, they wouldn't need LSD, right? So again, I just want to stress, it's not any kind of a curse or a sentence. There's so many people that are highly successful that have dyslexia. Tom Cruise, Albert Einstein, Richard Branson, Jamie Oliver. Jamie Oliver was in a special ed class until grade 6. He thought that there was something wrong with him, right? And that the school thought there was. That's the sad part. Richard Branson, multi-billionaire. He quit school at 15 because he was just so frustrated with his school experience. But it's a gift, right? Like they really, really can do amazing things. But if we want to teach them the basics of reading and spelling and math, depending on what kind of learning disability they have, then we have to go about it differently, because they don't learn the way they're being taught in the classroom. And if you're a teacher listening to this, it's super important you understand that. If you're a homeschooler, you need to know this. And if you're a parent who's just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do for my kid, you need to know that too. It's all about teaching them in a way that makes sense to them. And there's two really key components. It's got to be phonics based and direct instruction. And by that, I mean, take the mystery out of the English language. And we do that by teaching them the spelling rules and how to break words apart explicitly, not like, oh, they'll just pick it up because it's a pattern. No, they have to be taught specific rules. And believe it or not, the English language is mostly rule-based or based on generalizations, that when the kids, it's like I could teach them 10 words and they'll know those 10 words. Or I could teach them 10 spelling rules and they'll know thousands of words just by knowing those rules, right? So it has to be phonics-based and direct instruction, explicit instruction. And it has to be done in a multisensory way, which means they're not relying on their visual or auditory modalities, learning modalities. We have to incorporate kinesthetic and tactile in there as well, so that we're capturing all the different learning modalities, because a lot of times these kids, that's where their troubles lie, excuse me, is either they're not strong visual or auditory learners, and in a classroom, that's quite often how they're being taught. Sit down, watch and listen, right? And then go do. And the problem is that they watch and listen, but not much is coming in, right? So those are my my key takeaway for you, is that it's got to be phonics-based, direct instruction, and it has to be multisensory. And to accomplish that, you're probably looking to find an instructor or a tutor that has training in Orton Gillingham. And so there's lots of different programs, Barton, Wilson, a few others that are based on Orton Gillingham, including my program, which is different than the other two in that it incorporates reading, spelling, and printing all together, and they each reinforce the other. But it's based on Orton Gillingham, it's based on phonics, direct instruction, and it's multisensory. And that's how you're going to reach these kids. Excuse me, I'm not completely over my cold. So that's what I would suggest to you is, if you can convince your school to do psych ed, that'd be great. If you wanted to get one done privately, it's going to cost you a few $1,000s. And I don't know that it's completely necessary. If you have a trained professional in Orton Gillingham, they can do a diagnostic like I do, and it shows where all the gaps are. It shows where all their problems lie, and then you can start filling in those gaps, right? So that's what I have for you today. I also promised you a 25% off coupon for any of my digital downloads that are in my shop, and I just uploaded 4 new resources in there that are pretty awesome. So if you'd like to have 25% off any of my digital downloads in my shop on my website, just send me a DM and give me your email address, and I will get the coupon code emailed out to you. And that's good from today all the way till the end of January for you to use. So, even if you can't get to it today, go ahead and message me, and I'll get that coupon code out to you so that you have it for the whole month of January, and you can look through the shop at your leisure. Also, I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be doing a free webinar on January 10th at noon, so a lunch and learn, probably be about 45 minutes. And I am going to be answering some common questions like the ones that I receive all the time, which is, I don't know what to teach. Where should I start? How do I prepare my lessons for success? How can I teach effectively? How do I know that the lesson is going well? What are the telltale signs that children are actually learning, that they've mastered it? How do I know if they've mastered it? That kind of stuff. And just basically what you need to know to plan for success, either in your classroom or at home with your child. And that's going to be on January 10th at noon, and it's free. And again, if you're interested, send me a private message, and I'll send you the Zoom link. And even if you can't attend, but you're interested, go ahead and get the link, and I'll have you on that email list, and I can make sure that you get the replay afterwards. Okay? So that is all I have for you folks today. If you have any other burning questions that you think you would love to have answered on that free webinar, let me know, right? That's why I'm doing it, is to help people find solutions. So if there's something that you're really looking for an answer to, or it's a question you've just been struggling with and you just like my advice on it, let me know what that is too. And I'll try and fit it into the webinar on the 10th noon, lunch and learn, free, gotta be there. So Merry Christmas to those of you who I didn't get a chance to wish a Merry Christmas to, and Happy New Year. I just know that 2023 is going to be so much better than 2022. So have a great day, everybody. Bye. And happy teaching.